Here we go. Let's not. We talked about a little bit of odd or even functions.
Yes, you did.
If you look at starting at 0, if I do the cosine of 30 degrees, what do I get? What's the cosine of 30? We're here. What's the cosine of 30 degrees?
No,
0.1542.
Cosine of 30, the root 3 over 2, right? Root 3 over 2. What's the cosine of negative 30? Go down 30 degrees. Look at 330. What's the cosine there? Also root 3 over 2. So whether I put the positive or negative input into cosine, I get the same thing. So that's why they're telling you right here, cosine and its reciprocal secant, right here, they're even. The only reason I'm telling you this is if you go to look up an answer in the back of the book and you've written down cosine of negative 30, the back of the book will transfer it to a cosine of positive 30. Because the negative input is always going to be the same as the positive input. And the book will always write positive inputs as their answers. Sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent are odd functions. So if you ever have like the sine of negative 30, the book would bring the negative out front. Okay? So last one here. Knowing that if you know that things are odd or even is not going to make or break you for the test. Okay? So don't worry about that. Use the value of the trig function to evaluate the indicated function. So they're asking us to, what's sine of t? So if somebody tells me sine of negative t equals 3/8, right? According to this, it tells me that the sine is odd. So the sine of negative t is the same as negative sine of t. The sine of negative t is the same as negative sine of t. So that also equals 3. So the sine of t then, if I take this negative now and divide both sides by negative, I end up getting negative 3/8. So when they say what's the sine of t, if I know that the sine of negative t is 3/8, sine of t then would be negative 3/8. I don't know. Again, it doesn't make or break you for the exam or anything. But what's the cosecant?
8 over 3.
The reciprocal, negative 8/3. What are the domain of sine and cosine? What are the x values on that unit circle? Negative 1 to 1. Over on the left-hand side, it's a negative 1 for the x value. On the right-hand side is positive 1. So the x values go from negative 1 to 1. They do touch them, right? So we get square brackets. Range. Top of the unit circle, bottom of the unit circle. Also negative 1 to 1. So when you look at the unit circle, every one of your ordered pairs is somewhere between negative 1 and 1.